I'm Keith. This is Crypto Bullseye, and this is a reality check to each and every single one of you that's holding your altcoin bags. Yep, your altcoin bags for the next 6 months for this coming alt season, so you can get rich, you can retire, you can buy that Lambo that you're always wanting. Guys, super cycle, super cycle, super cycle. Let me drill that home to you. That is a narrative that has been pushed onto us retail by the smart money guys, and this is going back to stock market days. This is not just crypto. By the stock market days to push onto retail. Guess what? Psychologically, people that have got no money think that if they hold something that is going up and up and up, and they've got diamond hands, guess what they are? Exit liquidity for the smart money. Don't be exit liquidity, guys. Is the market cycle broken? Are we going to get an alt season for 6 months? We've got lots to talk about in this video. Let's dive in. Okay, so how can we understand exactly where we are in the cycle? We can go by past data, previous data to analyze and look forward as to exactly where we are in the cycle now by looking at different charts collectively and painting that picture. This is the Bitcoin chart. This is the weekly. And I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but this is the previous cycles. So from the bear market low here, all the way back here in January 2015, we had a low. And then we went to the top here, which was 152 weeks. Then we had the bear market from the high to the low, which was 52 weeks. And then 152 weeks for the next bull run from this low. I'll just show you from that low to the next high. So that was 152 weeks. And then guess what? We've got 152 weeks in the bear market. So you got 152, you got 52, you got 152, you got 52. And then I've estimated going forward what 152 weeks would look like based on previous data. Now we're going to give two scenarios here: super cycle, alt season for 6 months, and a normal narrative within the cycle. And I'm going to show you why I think that the cycle within reason, within a few weeks, is going to hold, guys. Until it's broken, guys, until it's broken, why try and fix it? So understanding exactly where we are in the market is the most important thing, because that understands exactly how we exit the market. And what I want to show you guys is this. This is 2021. This is the bull market of 2021. This is the area here where we broke the previous high, the previous all-time high of 2017, which was $20,000. So we broke $20,000 and then we had this rally here. Now, you can see this rally here lasted 13 weeks, around about 13 weeks. Then we had a big pullback. You had a little spike here, but this is where it topped out. You had a pullback. That was the May 2021 crash. So the May 2021 crash, Bitcoin fell back 50%. Then we had the second half of the rally, and that's where most of the altcoins run. So this 13 weeks here, that was one big swing. That was an alt season. The next swing here, that was another alt season. Something's happened differently this time. The liquidity has been driven into Bitcoin. Bitcoin ran into its all-time high at its halving for the first time in its history. And then the narrative is Bitcoin is the new store of value, a hedge against inflation, hedge against that bad fiat currency, and people are putting it into their reserves. So people are putting it into their reserves while it was eaten up and eaten up and eaten up at the market cap. So Bitcoin's market cap was going up, and we could tell that by the dominance. So the dominance was going up, and the dominance was going up for 3 years, and we were waiting for this, the big dominance drop. Don't forget, we're on the weekly. So we're waiting for this dominance drop. We've got this dominance drop, and that's the first signal that we've got an alt season, because ultimately we need a push. Now, the case is, are we going to get a push to this level here? And I'm going to show you why this level is so significant. Or are we going to get a push all the way back down to this range? I don't know. We can just look and we can just monitor it. So one thing that I want to bring is the weekly. The 200 weekly moving average. You can see this 200 weekly moving average coincides with one thing: this big buildup of price action, which was resistance for such a long period of time, which is going to act as support going forward, as well as the 200 weekly moving average, which is going to carry weight. So this is going to give me a halfway point. When we get all the way down here, you've got to expect some kind of reaction. When that happens, you'll see a rotation where Bitcoin will start outperforming as we get a bit of a pullback, and then another leg down. The case is, have we got enough time for that to happen? So if we're within the normal cycle, this is how long we've got left. We've got 13 weeks left. So if we've got 13 weeks left, that kind of coincides with this move here. So will we get a big altcoin rally within the next 13 weeks? That's what we need to look out for. And that's why we're monitoring dominance so closely, right? The 6 month scenario, guys, would put this all the way to 165 weeks. So before it was 152, one before that was 152. We measured 152. That would put it to 165 weeks. That's a dangerous game, guys, playing that. Feels like it's in the late alt season. It feels like it's a late alt rally. And it feels like it's going to be hard. It feels like it's going to be fast. And it feels like it's going to be more similar to this 2017, where you get a big, fast rally. How long did this last? Just measure that. From this big swing here, you've got the big rally, 14 weeks. 15 weeks. So it's around about the same period. So that's how long you need for an altcoin rally. And it's how greedy are you guys? How greedy are you? Now, if I was shooting for, say, capital of $50,000, $100,000, and my allocation hadn't been met by the time I'd got here, how would I feel? Would I expect a super cycle emotionally? I'd want one. It'd make me more likely to think that there's going to be one because I need that capital to be gained. However, expect the cycle to hold, guys. Always remember that. Expect the cycle to hold. So if the cycle holds, we've got about 13 weeks. We've got dominance dropping, 13 weeks of dominance dropping. If we get big drops, big spikes, that's going to push the altcoins. They're going to rally. They're going to outperform Bitcoin. What else is going to happen? Total 3. Let's have a look at that. So this is my confirmation for alt season, total 3, a break and a close of total 3. I'm going to be scaling out my period over a 10 to a 12-week period, which coincides with 13 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks. So I'm going to be scaling out our position over 10 to 12 weeks. What happens if we get a super cycle and I'm out the market? Guys, I can trade smaller allocations and put them in 5%, 10%, ride the last part of the cycle. If it happens, guys, if it happens, and if it doesn't, guess what? Stop losses are in play, protections are in play. So we look at the S&P next, and you can see the S&P is in new highs. That is hovering right at the top here. That is strong. That is bullish. You've got VIX. This is the volatility index. We've got low volatility on the S&P. That's strong. So the next thing we look at is ETH BTC. And we want this push up here. We want Ethereum to start pushing out against Bitcoin. If we zoom in, you can see exactly that is happening. Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin. This is bullish. So all the stars are aligning up at the moment. Ethereum is breaking to its upside, or it's testing this pennant after a fake out to the downside. It's had a big move to the upside, and Ethereum's the one to watch at the moment because 157% move to the upside is nothing to be sniffed at. So that's about it from me for now, guys. Remember, as far as the super cycle is concerned, I'm a bit of a skeptic. I look at previous data, I look at what's happened in the past, and I analyze the data based on that. Things are different, guys. The markets rhyme, they never repeat. This cycle's been different. Cycle before was different. Cycle before was different. However, we've maintained a rough time scale within the previous cycles, and I'm going to stick with that time frame. My metrics, once we get the break of total 3, are met 10 to 12 weeks, guys. How far away are we? Let's just zoom into this. How far away are we? So as far as the candle is, we are 11%. As far as the high is, that was 6.5%. This potentially could be me next week taking out my first position out of my portfolio, guys. And we're going to be talking about that more as we get into it. But remember, you're early if we haven't broken and we haven't closed above total 3. It might be hard, it might be fast, but you need to understand how volatile this space is, guys. You can lose everything if you're in altcoins. Altcoins get battered between 95, 98%. Some of them don't even survive. So remember that this is a high risk game. Play it as a high risk game. Don't have diamond hands because you will have diamond hands to zero. Don't believe the super cycle narrative until it happens, guys. That's about it from me. Let me know in the comments what you think about that type of video. Get yourself in the Discord group. That's where we chat about charts. That's where we chat about life. We're really getting to know each other. We're a big group of friends and one big family in there. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one.